done.
Welcome to the city of Memphis. Throughout all ancient Egyptian periods, cities had one thing in common. They were situated along the Nile's shores. Cities were often designated for government or for worship. Major cities had several temples dedicated to numerous gods and goddesses. Egyptians referred to the organization of their cities as a sepat, or later on by the Persian term nome. There were 20 sepat in Lower Egypt and 22 in Upper Egypt. The capital city of ancient Egypt changed many times over the periods. One of the largest was Memphis, located in Lower Egypt. It was a key center for religious temples, including their most important deity, Ptah, god of creation. Thebes, located in Upper Egypt, competed with Memphis and featured as both a political and a religious center. Two important temples, Luxor and Karnak, were built there. A minor capital of the Sayyid dynasty was the city of Sais. This was the last native Egyptian capital of Egypt. During the Third Dynasty, under Pharaoh Djoser, Memphis became the first religious and administrative capital of Egypt. Even when the political capital of Egypt decentralized itself, pharaohs were crowned in this sacred city in order to legitimize their ascension to the throne, up to and including Alexander the Great. Though little remains today save ruins south of Cairo, we can guess at the structure of the city, which stretched up to 5 kilometers in length and 2 kilometers in width. Memphis was also referred to as the city with the 100 doors, or the White Walls. These names were in reference to the wall which surrounded the city. Under the protection of Ptah, god of craftsmen, the city was a thriving religious and economic hub. Welcome to Rediscovering Egypt.
In the 19th century, the increased intensity of tourism and excavations, as well as the outflow of antiquities to other countries, threatened Egypt's archaeological heritage. Egyptians took part in this destruction by ransacking sites for artifacts to sell, quarrying stones from ancient monuments, and removing sebakh, ancient mud bricks, to reuse for their own purposes. A major step in conserving Egypt's heritage was taken in 1858, when the Viceroy of Egypt created the Antiquities Service. Supported by a team of foreign scholars, Auguste Mariette exerted an iron grip on the service. He carried out his work across Egypt and into Nubia, intervening on almost every major site. Aware of the necessity of keeping unearthed artifacts in Egypt, Mariette requested a museum be created for that purpose in 1858. This museum was the ancestor of the Egyptian Museum. Gaston Maspero, Mariette's successor, expanded and reorganized the Antiquities Service and instigated laws regulating the export of artifacts. French scholars ran the service until it passed into Egyptian hands in the 1950s. As of the mid-19th century, Egyptology was fast becoming a recognized discipline within both private institutions and learned societies.
يا قلبي يا حبيبتي يا عمري نو حبيبتي لا تآذي بابا كذا خلي بابا يلعب لا تآذيه نو بيبي نو بيبي لما أقول نو اسمع الكلام
A French architect, archaeologist, and
Jean-Claude Galvin now specializes in the artistic reconstruction of
لا
Egyptian
تزعلي
monuments.
أنا أزعل بعدين
Today, he has created more than 800 drawings, which includes 3 volumes
أنت قاعدة تآذي بابا
أنا آذي بابا
لا تآذي بابا
and can be found in books in museums around the world.
طب خلاص لا تآذي يلا شاطر
خلاص ما بعايز
طب سيبيني سيبي حبيبتي سيبي بابا بيلعب لا بيبي خلاص خلاص بس هنا قدر المغرب يلا روح صلي.
The team was thrilled to collaborate with Jean-Claude Galvin in order to recreate Egypt for the game. In the 19 exclusive watercolors he created for the team, Galvin used scientific data as the base, and then extrapolated to provide a full interpretation of various locations and monuments in ancient Egypt. Both early sketches and fully rendered images were then used by the team as references while building the world of Assassin's Creed Origins. Although ancient Egypt's rich religious culture and its mortuary monuments continue to be investigated, the modern discipline of Egyptology has shifted focus. Rather than single-mindedly retrieving impressive artifacts, Egyptologists today focus instead on increasing the body of knowledge. In the past, excavations took place in the field. And while that is still the case today, much of the work on Egyptology now takes place in libraries and archives. Today, archaeology in Egypt relies on an interdisciplinary approach, where traditional Egyptologists are helped by a wide spectrum of scientists from other disciplines and new, non-invasive techniques. GPS data, satellite imaging, and ground-penetrating radar allow archaeologists to gain a sense of what lies underneath the ground before excavating.
Natron. Natron is a colorless salt that was used by ancient Egyptians for food preservation, cleansing products, and glassmaking. It was also used in the mummification process. During the ceremonial embalmment ritual, the priests packed the body in natron in order to remove all of the moisture. Once the body was thoroughly desiccated, they could begin the wrapping. Natron is mined in Wadi Natron. The main mining methods involved either cutting slices out of the lake bed when it was dry, or raking through mineral-saturated water to gather the mineral salts during the floods. Both techniques are still used today and inspired the team in their recreation of the mines located in the mountains northwest of Memphis.
Hello. Testing mic. Hello, testing mic.
Welcome to Fauna of Ancient Egypt.
fauna يعني animals حيوانات.
Both domesticated and wild animals were features in ancient Egyptian bas-reliefs as early as the First Dynasty. While the variety of wildlife served as a reliable food source, it also influenced both culture and mythology. Egypt's terrain allowed for a diverse range of animals, including panthers, rhinoceroses, elephants, and many variations of antelopes.
الو الصوت احسن كده.
The Nile was home to many species of fish, along with hippopotami and crocodiles.
ندوب التمساح. يعني هذا الدور بيتكلم عن الحيوانات. بيتكلم عن حيوانات ايجيبت ايام ايجيبت.
wide variety of birds that populated the riverbanks, from raptors and waterfowl to songbirds, were all cataloged within Egyptian hieroglyphic signs. Encounters with reptiles and insects, such as cobras, scorpions, and scarabs, influenced hieroglyphs and art.
Broadcasts. Video clips and broadcasts will include all audio from players. أنا قاعد أقرأ. Video clips and broadcasts will include all audio from players in the party who allow their voices to be shared. Video clips and broadcasts will include all audio from players in the party who allow their voices to be shared. What this?
Maximum volume.
While all animals had sacred meanings, lions in particular represented power and royalty to ancient Egyptians. They were so prized by pharaohs that they were hunted to extinction within Egypt.
The Asad.
Hello. Welcome to Flora of Ancient Egypt. The climate and unique geography of the Nile Delta offered a wide variety of plant species. Many of these plants served as sustenance for ancient Egyptians and as crops for trade. The Nile's consistent seasons allowed Egypt to sustain itself for centuries.
ايش تقول يا لولو؟ سيبي لا تمسكي. هذا بابا قاعد يلعب هنا. شفتي؟
فين بابا ولولو؟
لولو تقول فين بابا ولولو.
Possibly the most useful of the plants was the papyrus. This tall sedge plant grew in abundance along the water's edge of the Nile. Commonly known for its use as paper, the ancient Egyptians found many other functions for it, including rope, sandals, and mats. Papyrifort boats made from the plant are seen in paintings and reliefs, and were used in ritualistic ceremonies.
ايش في لولو؟
أنا كات.
انتي كات؟
مياو مياو مياو.
هاي كات. هاي بيبي. حبيبتي لولو، حبيبتي كات. ويت تبوس. Hello. 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 Hello.
Bunny.
You're a bunny?
Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Cute bunny حبيبتي.
There were many types of trees along the River Nile, such as the date palm, carob, and tamarisk. The earliest fruit tree cultivated was the fig tree, followed by apple, pomegranate, and eventually olive trees during the era of the New Kingdom. Mango cultivation was the result of a late import from Asia during the Middle Ages.
Testing, mic, testing. Hey, Lulu. Come, see. Testing, mic, testing. Testing, mic, testing. Testing, mic, testing.
Yeah.
ايش يا؟
Ma. Na. He. Ha. Ba. La. This showed me.
صوت لولو.
Some trees were associated with gods, such as the acacia with Horus. The divinities Thoth and Seshat were depicted inscribing the reign of the king into a Persea tree. The sycamore was connected with the goddess Iset, patron of the ritual of life.
ليه تاخذي جوالي؟ لولو تعالي هنا. ايه زي لولو ايش قاعدة تسوي؟
Welcome to Ancient Egyptian Hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphics were used as sacred writing, appearing on monuments, statues, and sacred papyrus texts. The earliest symbols that resemble hieroglyphs were on pottery dating back to 4000 BCE. This stylized form of signs and drawings was the only writing used from its ancient origins to the end of pharaonic history. Ancient Egyptians referred to hieroglyphs as the writing of the gods.
هذا حقتها.
Considered a difficult language, it was intended for pharaohs, nobility, and priests, and meant to be used in ceremonies, within tombs, and for government records. Since few Egyptians were able to read the ancient hieroglyphs, the mythological aura around the language was persistent, even in their own culture.
هذا خليه كذا عشان هذا لما تتكلم يا هذا اسمع عرفتي؟
The structure of hieroglyphs offers insight into Egyptian culture, not just in what the translations say, but in the structure of the symbols themselves. They were found on tomb walls, on sarcophagi, on statues, and on pottery, and were meticulously recorded in countless ancient papyri. In many temples, priests would perform rituals and daily offerings. These were accompanied by hieroglyphs used as spells. In tomb paintings, the hieroglyphs are represented with formulas to recite. These spoken words were meant to be spells which would allow the deceased to benefit from the offerings for all eternity. Spells and offerings were also written for the living, to enhance medicines and cure illnesses. The most famous of ancient Egyptian documents is the Book of the Dead. Written in hieroglyphs and hieratic texts, it depicts important spells and rituals. These spells were intended to ensure a smooth transition from life to death and allow the deceased to safely navigate the perils of the afterlife. Even after it was deciphered, the reading of hieroglyphs remained difficult at times due to the many directions in which they can be read. Depending on the orientation of the signs, hieroglyphs can be read left to right, right to left, horizontally or vertically, though never bottom to top. A clue on which way to read is to first notice which direction the figurative signs are facing. If a pictogram is looking to the right, then the reader is meant to start from the right and read towards the figure. Column text on a papyrus begins from the right, then goes top to bottom for each column. First notice which direction the figurative signs are facing. Text written on tomb walls resembles the structure of a page from a comic book. The text can be placed in front, behind, or above the character, and its symbols look in the same direction as the character. Another clue is that the name of a god or hieroglyphs meaning gods or kings are always written before the descriptive text. Compared to alphabetical languages, Egyptian hieroglyphs have more symbols. Confronted with the absence of vowels, the Egyptians invented a category of signs. When placed at the end of words, these signs help inform its meaning. For instance, a drawing of a lion will refer to a lion and also relate to the abstract concept of a lion as something dangerous or powerful. Middle Egyptian hieroglyphs contained a little more than 700 signs. By the end of the Greco-Roman period, there were 10,000 signs. Egyptologist Sir Alan Gardner created a list classifying common hieroglyphic signs and their variants.
يلا بسرعة بس بشوف. Hurry up. بسرعة.
Ancient Egyptian languages have many similarities with Asian and African languages. They have evolved in similar ways to the various forms of written Egyptian. These languages belong to the Hamito-Semitic group. There were 5 clear evolutions in the Egyptian language, each with their own distinctive structure. These languages are known as Old Egyptian, Middle Egyptian, Late Egyptian, Demotic, and Coptic. While hieroglyphs and hieratic script give us an idea as to how the ancient Egyptian language was structured and written, the way it was spoken is still up for debate. The team opted for English as the spoken language, with the characters using ancient Egyptian and Greek words and accents. The language that is spoken in the background by the crowds is largely based on Sir Alan Gardner's Egyptian grammar. To help resurrect a dead language, we consulted Egyptologists and dialogue coaches to establish our target sound and cast actors with Arabic, Hebraic, and African backgrounds to bring the game to life. After Alexander the Great's arrival in Egypt and the establishment of his reign, Greek became the language used by the governing bodies. The inability to read hieroglyphs caused resentment among the Greek population. It's from this tension that the Rosetta Stone was created. The spread of Christianity ended pharaonic culture and resulted in the destruction of its pagan monuments. This also marked the end of hieroglyphic writing and understanding.
جيب الجوال انا اوريك. جيب الجوال. اول شيء افتح اللمبة. تضحكي. طيب تعالي هنا جنب بابا. تعالي
So Mama said, then Mama said, Mama said, and then he started, and then
شوف هنا في كمان زيه شفتي
Welcome to Jean-François Champollion.
ادي الجوال لماما خلي ماما تشوف احنا قاعدين نلعب. ادي جوال بابا لماما بس انا ارفع الصوت عشان كمان تشوف. يلا تعالي. ماما تفرج علينا احنا قاعدين نلعب في اليوتيوب. دحين نصير
Between the 5th century CE
broadcasters.
and the Renaissance, knowledge of hieroglyphs was entirely lost. Many enthusiasts
أنا ولولو إحنا
tackled the
team.
challenge of deciphering the language with little success. Some groundwork was made with various researchers identifying names and some grammatical structure, and confirming that cartouches were markers for royal names. They were still missing a critical piece of information that would eventually be revealed thanks to the discovery of the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone was found in 1799 by Bouchard, a soldier in Napoleon's army. The stela dates from 196 BCE, written in ancient Egyptian and Greek with 3 scripts: hieroglyphics, Demotic, and Greek alphabet. Following the defeat of Napoleon Bonaparte in 1801, the English took possession of the stone. It has been at the British Museum since 1802 and remains the most visited object of the museum to date. The first translation was of the Greek section only in 1803. It detailed a decree of Pharaoh Ptolemy V, reminding the citizens that their pharaoh had led Egypt to prosperity. It was fully translated 20 years after by Jean-François Champollion, who was working with a facsimile. Through his studies of the stone, Champollion was able to make a critical observation that would unlock the whole mystery: that hieroglyphics were not only ideograms, but also phonograms. Hieroglyphs consist of phonetic glyphs, single characters, and logograms. Essentially, they are a combination of phonetics, alphabet, and full words, which in total form a language. While studying the stone, Champollion realized that there was a difference in the number of hieroglyphic characters in relation to the number of Greek characters for the same word. This led him to believe that hieroglyphs must have phonetic characteristics. To prove this theory, Champollion began identifying Egyptian rulers' names and then compared their phonetic pronunciation to the Greek version. For example, Cheops had been the Greek name given by ancient chroniclers to the owner of the Great Pyramid, Khufu. The next step for Champollion was to confirm that his approach was verifiable. by using the Philae obelisk as
Musa.
an additional reference. Engraved in the obelisk are
golden.
2 inscriptions in Egyptian hieroglyphs and Greek. Once he confirmed the names of Ptolemy and Cleopatra within these texts and confirmed the same phonetic patterns as on the Rosetta Stone, Champollion knew he was on the right track. Champollion had already mastered several ancient languages when he took on deciphering the Rosetta Stone. He used his knowledge of Coptic to identify the solar disk hieroglyph on the obelisk as the phonetic translation of Ra. Further translation only strengthened his conclusion. Egyptian hieroglyphs encompass the alphabet in both phonetics and determinative ways, which means that the symbol represents the word itself.
بالإنجليزي fire. ايش تبوسي؟ تبوسي لولو؟
Welcome to Cyrene.
انت تبوسي بابا؟
تعالي تعالي لا تاخذي شيء، لا تاخذي لا تاخذي. تعالي كذا، لا تاخذي عشان هو مشبوك في النادي. تعالي تعالي. اوي 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 لا لا تاخذي لا تاخذي. شوف مشبوك في ده، تبي لا ينفصل. يلا نلعب مع بعض. استنى استنى بشوف الكاميرا كيف.
It's too small.
انت تبغي كاميرا فين؟ وايد ولا لارج ولا سمول؟ خلي سمول ولا لارج. استنى اشوف لارج.
أنا ببيك.
بيج طيب.
شوفوا فيديو.
فيديو. استنى. The background is moved by using a key.
أنا أبا بيك. أنا أبا شوكي دا بيك. شوكي دا بيك. Big. Big, 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 big. It's still big. Woo. Big, big, big.
كده حلو؟ لا ماما كده حلو ولا لا؟
Μην τη
لا.
συλλέξω όταν σχολήν πάσιν τη διαλύσει.
ايش تقولي؟ اسألي ماما هذا حلو ولا لا؟ كده دائرة. كأنه شحات؟ ليه كأنه شحات؟ انت قلتي كأنه شحات؟ لا انا قصدي على احنا كده الكاميرا.
ايش كده تحمله؟
لا انت بالسلك.
انت تسلك عشان انا ببيج
كده
كده بيج كده بيج كده بيج بيج big. But it is still small. Small, yeah. Really small, yeah. Really small, yeah. No, big.
انت تبغي بيك؟ مو هذا طيب بس انت تبغي تحت ولا فوق؟
فوق.
فوق كده.
Big.
لا استنى ما يصير كده هنا.
ليش ما يصير؟
كده. تعالي هنا جنب بابا. تعالي جنب بابا انت. استنى. تعالي جنب بابا تعالي.
جاء جنب بابا سن
ايه. شوف كده مثلا.
ليش كده مو حلو؟
استنى شوي خليني نصلح.
ليش كده مو حلو؟ كده مو حلو. أو سرير
ده؟
لا
تعالي جنب بابا.
كده مو حلو. كده مو حلو.
حلو ليش؟
عشان هذا silly princess. أنا أبغى فوق. هذا مو حلو.
That's too bright. زخرفي زخرفي بشوف. ايش تسوي؟
بس ألعب معك.
ابغى اشوف. بعدي بعدي بعدي.
بس ألعب معك.
طيب خلوا كذا تلعبي، انا ابغى اشوف عشان.
خلاص ما بدلش.
ما تبي تلج؟ ايش يعني ما تبي تلج؟
عشان تلج سوي كده.
ايش رايك كذا شوف هذا؟
مو حلو أحسن. مو حلو أحسن. مو حلو أحسن.
ايش يعني مو حلو احسن يا حبيبتي؟
عشان هذا مو حلو مو حلو. أنا بيانكور. أنا بيانكور.
ايش يعني يونيكورن؟ ما عندنا يونيكورن.
ليش ما عندها؟ ليش ما عندها يونيكورن؟ ليش ما عندنا يونيكورن؟
عشان ما عندنا يونيكورن.
واو. كده؟ No. طيب كده؟ Yes. تك 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 تك. لا. تك 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 بوبا. هذا مو حلو أحسن. مو حلو أحسن يا بابا عشان هذا زي وايد. زي عشان هذا.
هذا زي صن؟
سوي كده.
استنى شوي.
كده كده يا بابا.
زي صن بابا صح؟
بابا زي سن.
هنا شوف اللعبة بابا زي صن.
Cyrenaica stretches across the coast of northwest
بابا
Africa.
حلو كده الكاميرا في
It was known as
الفيديو.
Pentapolis in antiquity, a reference to the 5 main cities that formed the Greek colonies.
كأننا صن.
Built on a lush plateau of the Green Mountains, in what is present-day Libya, a colony of Greek settlers formed the city of Cyrene in 630 BCE.
انت حد انا مو حد.
انت مو هاد؟
انت حد انا مو حد.
Cyrene's population quickly grew, spreading out across the terraces of the plateau, making it the first and largest of the 5 colonies.
ليش مو حلو؟
The city of Cyrene was founded by Batos Aristotle, guided by the Oracle of Delphi. Overcrowded and suffering from drought, Batos's home island of Thera could not sustain its citizens. Batos consulted the oracle, who told them to journey to the North African coast in search of arable land. A series of kings reigned over the city in the first 2 centuries. However, rebellion eventually ended the monarchy, and henceforth the city was governed by the aristocracy. The key features of Cyrene were temples dedicated to gods, Apollo, Demeter, and Zeus, alongside Ptolemaic gods such as Isis and Serapis. A large agora defined the city's center, and on the western edge, the famed Acropolis was built. A fortification wall was added around the harbor at the end of the 2nd century CE. As the city grew, more buildings were constructed beyond the walls. Under Roman influence, Cyrene became an economic powerhouse, rising in status throughout the Mediterranean. Cyrene's school of medicine rivaled all others except for that of the Greek city Kos. Some of the great minds in ancient math, astronomy, and geography were born or established in the various schools of the city, which included an institute. From 115 to 117 CE, there was a revolt in the Jewish quarter that greatly damaged the city of Cyrene. Over time, a succession of battles, poor management of its silphium crop, and earthquakes eventually took their toll on the city. It was completely abandoned in 365 CE. The nearby port of Apollonia was an ideal location, with its natural cove, sheltered by 2 islands and rocky inlets. Along with a lighthouse, the port was later equipped with quays and warehouses to accommodate the increased shipping traffic. With its success as a commercial trading, some of its ruins can still be seen underwater.
Κόμιν γε. Χις βέλτιστος.
شفتك هنا شوف لولو.
Πότε διδάσκεσαι Ελλάδα? Μήπω πρώην και εχθές?
شفت لولو؟ انت بتشوفي لولو في الايباد؟
ايوه
Εσού ελάβνην ου γιγνοσκόμην γε, κεις βέλτιστος.
Oh. Will you please Anna Abba joystick?
Please, Anna Abba joystick.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you. كيف الصوت؟ الو سامعتني؟ الو في صوت؟
الو سامعتني كولا.
الو سامعني في صوت؟ هو في صوت لكن شوية واطي.
Welcome to the Agora and Thermal Baths.
Hello, sorry, Dr. Shella.
Cyrenes Agora was the public marketplace and political hub of the city. Its central courtyard was open to the sky, while market stalls and shops ran along the sides, some neatly tucked away under long-roofed colonnades. As in other Greek cities, the Agora included a central hearth, known as a prytaneum. This place served as Cyrenes' official embassy, where guests were welcomed to the city. An unnamed statue representing naval victories was the centerpiece of the Agora. The statue's female figure likely represents Nike, the goddess of victory. It was likely very similar to the victory of Samothrace, which currently resides in the Louvre Museum and served as a reference for the team.
ايش تقولي هاي؟ ايش فيه؟
Πολύ λέτε, έκυγουν. Οι ροσκόπος και την οικάφτην αφικνέονται. Είναι θυσιές των πράξεσιν. Αναγνωθείτε έτη χρεσβαίων παρημών. Καλέαμουν της ίδιασιν εξελθύνεται και φιλοφροσένης κομιστεύτης βεβαιώσεν.
ايش تقول يا حبيبتي؟
Οι ροσκόπου γάρ χαριστήρια ωφελωστούν ήμων έφυγε.
Yes, but there was a repair.
ايش؟
Πολύ λέτε, ειδήματα προσφέφατα των εστρίων. Κυβερνή του οίκιος κενός τελεκτικός έχει. Πολλό χρόνο υστέρω. Καθεξίου μηνώσγε άδε φερίστε μέντε. Αγγέλες μακαρίεν χαρέστηνεν, συμποσίου ρήτολος ταχαούτος κελέφ. Ευστοτέων ανθέρων πολλαίοι επικαλέψει. Κομισέι εκείκο, αντίπατρος και αρσινόη, χωρίου διορίγματος έγκυση τίμου, θελούσιους επικουρήντες με λιιδαίων συγκομιδής.
لولو سمعتني كويس؟ انت سمعتني كويس؟ لولو سمعتني كويس؟ صوتي كويس واضح؟ انت سمعتني كويس؟ ايه واضح كويس.
ايوه في حاجة.
صوتي كويس واضح؟ ايه واضح
صوت لولو.
The Cyrene Agora also displayed many temples and monuments celebrating its founding king, Batos, and the city gods.
يبغالك تيجي هنا.
There were 2 altars associated with the temple of Apollo and a marble statue base dedicated to the goddess Libya. The civic buildings included a law court complete with an archive library that would have housed legal documents and other papers essential to the city's governance. Traces of fire damage to the building's remains indicate that it was possibly destroyed during the rebellion of the Jewish community in 115 CE. Traces of fire damage to the building's remains. Public baths were common in Roman and Greek cities, and Cyrene held true to this tradition. 2 thermal baths from different eras were discovered among the ruins. An inscription at the entrance of one of the baths is presumed to be attributed to the owner. It dates the building to the Hellenistic period. Mosaics were originally created for practical reasons. The need to waterproof floors. Imported by Greeks in Egypt and Cyrenaica, the designs represented either scenes from daily life, marine fauna, or mythological figures. In addition to traditional Greek motifs, they also integrated concepts specific to Egyptian culture, such as the Nelumbo. The best examples of mosaics recovered to date, however, come from Alexandria. The Cyrene baths were fitted into an underground tomb dated somewhere between the 8th and 6th century BCE. Bath seats were carved directly in the rock, allowing for more comfortable ablutions. As with many of the public buildings, the thermal baths were elaborately decorated. Statues such as Aphrodite and Eros the Archer were discovered within.
هذا ايش انت تقولي؟
The frigidarium, a pool of cold water, was the first room visitors entered. It was followed by the tepidarium, or tepid water area, and then the hot water room, called the caldarium. Water for the thermal baths was sourced from a natural spring. Burning stones were deposited into the water to create steam as required. The flowing water of the spring ended in a cistern and fountain referred to as the Aqua Augusta. Later Roman baths were built under Emperor Trajan and then restored under Hadrian. After the earthquake of 365 CE, they were replaced by baths of Byzantine design. Stones from the old temple baths used in the reconstruction. The team relied on documentation describing the baths built under Trajan in order to create the location available.
Funny. الله أكبر. لا تطيحي لا تطيحي خلاص دحين ايباد يتعور.
ما ادري انت تطيحيه كثير بعدين ينكسر.
عشان هو هيبقى تسوي كده.
ايوه يقول اوتش يا راسي.
Welcome to the Temple of Zeus in Cyrene.
Wow.
Facing east towards the rising sun stands the temple dedicated to the cult of Zeus. It was built sometime in the 5th century BCE. 70 meters long with 46 Doric-style columns, the imposing structure was the largest Greek temple erected in Africa. It was only slightly larger than the Parthenon and the Temple of Zeus in Olympia. The exterior was designed with the decorative elements common to Doric architecture. The dimensions of the columns were different, giving visitors an impression of uniqueness when viewing each facade. After the temple was destroyed during the Jewish rebellion, Emperor Hadrian had it reconstructed. He chose not to rebuild the outer portico, but did restore the new Corinthian columns in marble. The temple was later completed under Marcus Aurelius. In the time of Augustus, a faithful but smaller imitation of the Olympian Zeus was used to be worshipped. Hadrian then installed a new 12-meter-high statue matching the Zeus in Olympia. It was made of chiseled marble, with the head, arms, and feet carved in the round.
Lulu, لا تعزي بابا. خلاص خلاص لا تعزي بابا.
Archaeologists confirm that there was a monumental statue of Zeus in this temple, but experts remain divided on whether it was one of Zeus or one more specific to the cult of Zeus Ammon. The team elected to place a statue of Zeus Ammon in this location, knowing that Cyrene was central to the spread of this cult in the Greek Mediterranean area.
سوي انت عدتي دحين ما في احنا قدمي خليه قدام هنا عشان تشوفي انت فين. انت ما في دحين حتى بابا ما في.
Welcome to important monuments of Cyrene.
طب بص
استني فين؟
The sanctuary of Apollo sits on the prominent edge of the plateau of Cyrene, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. It could be accessed either by the road from Apollonia via the necropolis,
لا تمسكي لا تمسكي
coming from the
لا
outer
تمسكي.
of the city.
خلاص نتفرج بالايباد انا العب هنا.
The abundance of temples and statues throughout the city reflect the various Greco-Roman and Egyptian cult influences over the centuries. Temples dedicated to Apollo, Cyrene, and Zeus stood alongside those of Ptolemaic gods, such as Serapis and Isis. Numerous fountains were decorated to represent other gods, including the city's namesake, Cyrene. A vestibule known as a propylaeum marked its entrance and highlighted the fountain of Apollo. God of the sun and of protection, Apollo was an important deity to both Greeks and Romans. The sanctuary built in his honor was considered to be sacred.
Engraved in the obelisk are two inscriptions in Egyptian
عشان انت عدتيه لا تعيدي قدمي جيبي.
and confirm the same phonetic patterns as on the Rosetta Stone. Champollion
الكبير.
The imposing temple was built on a natural cornice, stretching more than 200 meters in length and roughly 50 meters in width, and was surrounded by a vast Doric colonnade. Sections uncovered by archaeologists indicate restorations to the columns were made between 115
Lulu,
and
it's hot.
116 CE.
Oh, thank you.
شاطرة لولو. ثانك يو على ايش؟
The altar was located in front of the temple. Both are estimated to be the same age, though restored at different times.
It's so
Many bulls were sacrificed each year at the altar in honor of Apollo. The imprint in the stone of the ring used to strap the animals down is visible to this day. Carved during the Roman era, the Apollo Cytharite was discovered near the temple. It is considered an important archaeological find. The statue of Apollo was in pieces when it was uncovered. Remarkably, most fragments were found, and the restored statue is currently at the British Museum. The team extrapolated the statue's final look based on the current partial reconstruction and placed it inside the temple to reflect the patron deity of the area.
If you like it, subscribe.
The amphitheater of Cyrene is located on what is known as the Terrace of Myrtosa, next to the sanctuary of Apollo. It was built on top of the old theater in the 2nd century. Originally used as a stage, the theater became an amphitheater once the taste for Roman gladiatorial entertainment reached the city. Entrances were placed at both ends of the amphitheater. A wall replaced the first 2 rows of bleachers as protection from the array of wild animals in the ring.
The tunnel used for the parade of beasts and gladiators circled the arena, unlike the Roman Colosseum's tunnel, which was beneath the amphitheater. The basement and corridors accommodated both the gladiators and the animals, and included lifts that raised the traps into the arena's center. Since the original theater was close to the cliffside, the expansion didn't allow for a perfect circle. Instead, junctions of the semicircle formed the arena into an oval shape. This elliptical formation still ensured an excellent view from all angles. The team decided to create a perfectly round theater for technical reasons, and used the structure of the Roman theater as their reference.
Let's get down to business to defeat the hunt. Did they give me daughters when I asked for sons? You're the saddest bunch I ever met. But if you know the truth, Mister, I'll make a man out of you.
Welcome to the Acropolis of Cyrene.
يا دبابة ايش تبي تغني يا لولو؟ تبي تغني ألادين؟ ايش تبي تغني؟
Located on the western edge of the city, Cyrene's Acropolis was smaller than the one in Athens, though its high vantage point provided protection for the city. At its entrance was a single door,
جاسمين بس. طيب أنا ألادين أنت جاسمين. أوكي.
An inscription, legible to this day, states that the walls and
I
the
can
citadel
show
were
you
restored
the
in the time of
world,
Augustus.
shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, make you wander by wonder, over sideways and under, on a magic carpet ride, a whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say you're only dreaming. Now I'm in a whole new world.
I can live on the side, and despite the feeling, so toughness to really under my cheek, copyright.
A whole new world. Don't you dare close your eyes.
A fortification was built above the ward to defend against an invading army.
But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. A whole new world. That's where we'll be. A thrilling chase for you and me. Yay! يلا نجيب ايباد نسمع. Let your heart decide. I can open your eyes. Make you wonder about. استنى اتفرج اول اتفرج بابا ولولو يغنوا مع بعض. A new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us how or where to go. Or say you're only dreaming.
شوف لولو جات. حبيبتي it's okay. انت زي كده ليه؟
While gladiators would not perform in Cyrene until later in the Roman era, the team
عشان شعري قليل مو كثير. انت شعرك ما شاء الله طويل كثير.
First, they believed
أنا شعري
it was
قليل.
important to portray this aspect of Roman life. And second, they felt it would add interesting gameplay possibilities.
Shut up. Papi, shut up, Pina. Say, shut up, Pina. Papi, say.
حبيبتي 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 لولو حبيبتي.
بابا سوي كده يا بابا.
ليه سوي كده يا لولو؟
عشان look. بابا سوي كده عشان عندي look. بابا سوي كده عشان عندي look.
شوف لولو جات.
The first gladiators to enter the arena were prisoners of war. It was a spectacle of violent clashes between men and against wild beasts that lasted nearly 1,000 years.
إيش في كمان أغاني؟
Volunteers began to enter the ring.
إيش في كمان أغاني تبى تغني؟
Status and money, many of the more skilled combatants
تعرف تغني
increased the
speechless؟
quality of the entertainment. Thus, the profession of gladiator came to
أنا
be.
ما أعرف أغنية كمل له.
Bound by contract to the master of the gladiators, the fighters
يلا
were
غني.
fed, trained, and guarded in barracks. Gladiators were
إيش هذه
separated into
الأغنية؟
heavy and light armor fighters,
تخاريف بس.
each with their own set of specific armor.
تخاريف
and
بس الأغنية.
weapons. Organizers often had two audience-favorite factions face each other in combat.
زحفي 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 اتفرج. كميالو وشمياو.
The events were highly organized.
كميالو
Fights were
شالي
held with a
شاشي
background of music and supervised by a referee.
شاور شا
Death, either in the
كميالو
course of
شاور
combat
شا.
or by decision, was not always the only way out for the loser. Several were released due to their performance and gained great notoriety as celebrities.
كميالو عاشو عاشو.
Welcome to Major Exports of Cyrene. Cyrene's main source of economic wealth was in the cultivation and export of poppies and silphium. Though the opium oil from the poppies was also an export, little is known about this crop. Information about the cultivation of silphium, however, is more accessible to us. Silphium, with its yellow flower, was considered a gift from the sun god. Grown solely in this region near the Mediterranean Sea, silphium extract was exported at high prices and was so crucial to the wealth of Cyrenaica that it was depicted on their coins.
أفكرك أي باب.
Silphium's roots produced a resin used
أنت
by
دق
both the
الباب أنت
Greeks
تفك
and
بنفسك
Romans
تعرف.
in medicines intended to cure cough, fever, indigestion, and many other ailments.
فكي أول بعدين
It was
تعال خذ
also
أشياء.
used as a contraceptive.
أول شيء روح فكي
In a
بعدين تعال خذ
compilation of
الأشياء.
culinary recipes from the 4th century BCE, the herb is mentioned in various recipes, including a flamingo dish.
أيوة كده.
High demand, overexploitation, and possibly a shift in climate all contributed to the eventual extinction
شوف
of
كيف؟
silphium. The last
Good,
mention of
excuse
it
me.
dates from the 4th century CE, and to this day, no traces of this plant have been identified.
كده شكلك. اشتريتي خلاص؟ Which one? Nice. بكم؟ الاثنين ب50؟ كويس. يلا ما عندنا غير نجلس في البيت نلعب العاب. ها؟ ما سمعت. يا ما في شغل ما في شيء. ما في شغل ولا محزنون. دحين باقي ساعتين وحينزل فاينل فانتسي 7. يا سلام. ايش ساعتين؟ دحين. خلينا اشوف لو جاهز اللعبة ولا لا. خلص كابتن سبويل فين؟ ايت واحد هذا برجر
داك
والرز
رايس فراير
رايس كوكر حكاية النطراز الرزي. ولا نايس. هذا مين اشترى لك هذا؟ مين اشترى لك هذا موانا وماوي؟ تيتا؟ ما في ماوي بس موانا اشوف. بس موانا ما في ماوي. التلفزيون سيوا.
شعرها كده لهنا.
ما شاء الله طويل. ايربوت بوت يا حياتي. الله 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 الله.
My iPad. It's my iPad.